Thank you, Dr. Chairman and Dr. Gottlieb. Let me just start in and follow up on the first question that the chairman asked about the e-cigarettes. I'm encouraged by your agency's work to curb the epidemic of e-cigarettes that are used by the youth. I will be introducing a bill this week that would, number one, raise the minimum age for tobacco products to 21. Number two, it will require online sellers of vapor products to obtain the name, the birth date, the address of customers, and verify the customer's identity through a third-party database, and it would require an adult to sign for the product on delivery. My question would be to you is, do you think a bill like this is needed to help address the youth nicotine addiction epidemic that we're seeing?
I appreciate the question, Congressman, and I'll just say at the outset, you know, while we take aggressive steps to try to address the youth use of these products, we still believe that these products could offer a viable alternative for currently addicted adult smokers to fully transition off of combustible tobacco onto something that's less harmful, notwithstanding our concerns around the risks associated with these products, and we do believe they have risks. These are not safe products. We also believe they're less harmful than smoking combustible tobacco. That obviously needs to be demonstrated through a proper regulatory process. We plan to put these products through that process, but we still believe in some public health promise of these products for currently addicted adult smokers, which is why we're trying to strike this balance even while we vigorously address the youth use. We do believe that raising, and I believe personally that raising the age to 21 for tobacco products can help address this crisis. A lot of the sales of e-cigarettes that we see to youth are secondary sales of, you know, enterprising 18-year-olds going in the store and buying a lot of product and reselling it in a high school. And as far as online sales of these products, one of the things we plan to address with the guidance that we're promulgating is trying to put in place heightened age verification requirements for these products being purchased online. We've seen other products being sold online where there is good age verification, not 100% foolproof, but certainly better than what we have today. You look at things like alcohol sales online, wine sales online. We have adult signature on delivery and other kinds of age verification, and they're more foolproof than what historically has been in place with these cigarette products. Some companies are voluntarily taking those steps now, but we think a more uniform standard could be helpful in trying to address the youth access issue when it comes to these products.
Well, I know when you asked just what you said just now, you've said in the past that you want to preserve access to non-combustible for adult smokers, and a lot of the youth access isn't just 14 and 50-year-olds buying illegally. It's these enterprising 18-year-olds that are selling to minors, and increasing the age to 21 will make it harder for this type of activity. As I understand, approximately 80% of high school seniors will turn 18 by the time they graduate. FDA's past data indicates amongst 15 to 17-year-olds, 74% of access to vapor products come from social sources. 57% asked for or someone offered a vapor product, and 17% gave someone money to buy for them. If this bill that I plan to introduce, a bipartisan bill, when it is introduced, how quickly do you think we could reverse these current trends that we're seeing?
You know, I hope quickly. I think that the challenge here is going to be that once you have sort of an epidemic like this underway, we're going to continue to see some increases before we start to see decreases. I'm not optimistic that when we have the data from the National Youth Tobacco Survey in 2019, it's going to go down. I think it's going to go up. If it goes up, you know, 30, 40, 50%, we're going to need to be stepping into the market with additional regulation. So my short answer to the question is I don't know. We need to be vigorous here, and if we continue to see these kinds of increases year over year for an additional year, we're going to have to be very direct. And the next place we would look is at the pod-based e-cigarettes as a class, because these are the ones that are being abused by the kids. And you know, at some point, there's going to be so much youth use of these products that we're going to have to conclude that there's not enough redeeming public health value in having these products available for currently addicted adult smokers to offset all that youth initiation.
Okay, let me see if I can sneak one more question in. FDA last week released nearly 200 pages of proposed framework for the substantial equivalent process. The documents seek input on how a process may apply to handmade premium cigars. As you may know, as with all handmade products, no two are exactly the same. Given that FDA remains in the early stages of addressing this process, would it not be appropriate to delay the implementation of the regulations relative to the narrow premium cigar category until FDA has clear guidance for these small manufacturers on how to keep their products on the market?
Well, as you know, Congressman, we pushed off the application deadlines for the cigars as a category while we issued an advance notice of proposed rulemaking to collect questions looking at questions specifically related to the premium cigars and whether or not there were different patterns of use associated with those cigars that might inform the agency about how we might regulate these differently. We haven't formed any conclusions. We're still going through comments on that ANPRM, but this is a question that's actively before the agency right now. I would just make note that we did get out the SC rule, which does provide a pathway for these products to come to the market using a predicate. And we've also grandfathered a large number of cigars, well more than 1,000, and that pathway is also available to the premium cigars. And just in conclusion, I'll mention that we provided TA back to your office on the legislation that you talked about at the outset, and look forward to working with you on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.